Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Knicks post game in the postseason. I'm Eddie, joined by my boy Jimmy. Jimmy, I'm fucking pissed off after that game, man. Let me tell you. To go down now 3-1. We're officially down 3-1 to this team. I felt like, we couldn't get it going in the second half. I felt like everything we tried going to different people. We just couldn't get it going. So, that's how I feel. Hold on. Let me, Frankie's here. Frankie, what's going on, man? Tough game. I was just telling Jimmy, bro, we couldn't get anything going in the second half. It was a fucking joke. You know what I mean? Like we tried
man.
And nothing worked.
I wore this for the Knicks. I wore my Aruba shirt.
Aruba
shirt. They'll be in Aruba soon, baby. See that? I wore it right for them. Hey, man, it is what it is, bro. Like, you come out in a big game. You got to win this game. It's a must win. What's up, Jimmy, Eddie? And they basically fell flat. I mean, outside of a few moments here and there, a few, stretches, they could not stop Halliburton running that offense all night. He's the first player in NBA history to have 15 assists, 10 rebounds, and 30-plus points without a turnover ever in playoff history.
Oh, he didn't have a turnover tonight?
No, sir.
Oh, my God.
We had 17. As a team, we had 17. That guy doesn't even get one.
Yeah.
So we had – hold on. Let me get this straight. We had 17 turnovers to their how many?
17 turnovers to their –
what, like 12?
11.
10? 11.
Yeah.
And they got 20 – what was it, 20 points off of our turnovers they got. So right there, that's 20 points off of turnovers alone. Just right there. That's fucking two games. That's 2 games. Literally, you could win a fucking 2 games with 20 points. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't let that happen. They let us run them out the gym. We ran out the gym with them. They got it. And by the way, I'm not one to complain about the refs, but into that fourth quarter, 5 possessions in a row, you call fouls. Give me a fucking break, man. Come on, man. And I don't do that. I don't call out the refs, but they're calling nothing. Bro, let them play a little bit. Come on, man.
Yeah, even the Pacers got a few foul calls that I felt like weren't fouls.
No.
I feel like in the playoffs, at least the past few years, they let them play physical. And tonight, it was not that, at least in the fourth quarter. But like you said, Eddie, I hate complaining about the refs too. But I mean, 17 turnovers, that's not going to cut it.
Let me break some down really quick. Indiana is such a well-coached team, right? They will expose anyone's weaknesses. Cat's defensive weaknesses, Brunson's defensive weaknesses, Mikal Bridges' inability to really take over when he needs to. Like, we gave him big shots at the end of that game. I'm just saying, they're going to expose your weaknesses. They don't have many weaknesses as a team, Eddie. They just don't.
No, you're right. Well,
and every weakness we have, they exposed it. Mikal Bridges did not show up tonight.
I was just telling you.
He did not show up. And he could have redeemed himself. He could have redeemed himself.
3 wide open. And Jimmy said there were 2-pointers. But in my view, within the last 5 minutes of the game, he had 3 possessions in a row, wide open threes. He missed all 3 of them.
Yeah.
That's what we paid 5 picks for. And you guys are watching this team. We have nothing to upgrade this summer. Unless you're going to trade Josh Hart or you want to trade fucking OG, we have nothing to available to trade. Nothing to make this team better. We're down 3-1. I think we're cooked. I think the series is over.
I mean, statistically.
Yeah, we're not going to win 3 games in a row. Even if they have some feel-good moment at the Garden where they win game fucking 5, you're going to lose game 6. We cannot stop these guys. You can't stop them. Yeah. Look at them in the second half. Let me read up the second half numbers for you guys. We shot 40% in the second half. 40%. I don't even know how much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them, 11 from 3, which isn't bad. That's not bad from 3. But overall, 40% in the second half, while they shot 47%, and they had 3 more possessions than us. So that their speed game of running up and down the floor It pays off. They had 8 more possessions than us in the third quarter alone. Third quarter, 8 more possessions. That's huge. That's fucking huge.
I'll
And here
say
we are
this,
sitting
though.
here. You know,
Let me just say one thing. The Knicks
Go ahead.
played hard tonight. Let's not question that. Jimmy, you guys agree? They played hard.
You can't get stopped.
They can't get exactly. No, to your point, you can play as hard as you want. You can be diving all over the place, trying to go after everything, trying to get every offensive rebound. Everyone's hustling their ass off. Guys are spraining ankles, getting hit left and right. Indiana could not be stopped. And the biggest culprit in that is Pascal Siakam. People in this league need to put some respect on that guy's name because when he was in,
can I get a final line on him tonight?
Pascal I'll get it up. But Pascal hit every big shot, man. He was the one at the end of that game that was doing everything. He was not going to let this one get away. He sort of disappeared last game. Pascal went back to form in game 3.
Make sure your Twitter's live.
Siakam dropped 30 on 11 of 21 shooting.
4
from behind the arc.
Jeez, that was a quiet 30. That was a very quiet. That's
smooth.
See, that's what a number 2 does.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quiet 30. That's what Jalen Williams does on Oklahoma City. He gets his 20, 25 points, but you don't even fucking realize it because you're thinking about Brunson, right? In their case, we're thinking about Halliburton, right? And Siakam comes out, gives you 30, and you don't even realize it. I thought he had like maybe a 20, 22-point game. I know he had 30.
He went
30,
off
30, man.
Him and Miles
big
Turner.
buckets at the end too.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
It was the same thing last year. Like I feel like when we played 2 high scoring bigs, like high volume offensive bigs, like Siakam and Miles Turner, we can't stop them. Especially when we have Karl Anthony Towns in early foul trouble. Like
that was awful.
Again, and he can't play defense to begin with. And we talked about it last time. You know, even when they won, when he gets in early foul trouble, especially him and Brunson, defensive liabilities to begin with, when they're not trying to actually play defense because they're worried about fouls, right then and there, we're handicapped.
I'll say this too. Let me just say something, Eddie and Jimmy. When OG and Mikal can guard Pascal Siakam, therefore, and they definitely can't guard Miles Turner. They tried. That's a problem defensively. Like the fact that OG, you can't say, hey, you're going to line up and you're going to D up Pascal tonight. And he couldn't all series, man. Pascal do you remember that little tip he had back in? He tried to do that little tip.
Yeah.
That was big, man, because they grabbed the board after that. They got a foul call. They got free throws. We're constantly in foul trouble against this team. This team, listen, they're a team.
Better.
We're not a team.
They're better. Again, I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. This Indiana Pacers team, they beat you by committee. Okay. Matherin. Well, I don't even know what his numbers, but I can guarantee you it's like 15 points in like fucking 12 minutes or something like that. He had a big game. And I was texting Tony. I'm like, watch out for Matherin tonight. Sure enough, he comes out. I guarantee the line on him. He has more points than fucking minutes played. I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty fucking sure of that. I'm going to choose to be delusional for a bit longer. Bounce. Yeah, Celso, keep fucking dreaming, bro. We ain't winning 3 in a row. We're lucky to win one fucking game. One game versus this fucking team.
I have a dream too, but like he said, it's a dream. It's a dream.
You guys, on my opinion, I don't think we're winning the next game. I think this will be.
You think we're out?
I think we're done.
They
used up too much energy tonight, man. They had they threw everything against the wall the last couple games. It worked last game. It stuck. This game, it didn't stick. They tried. They can't find a way to match up with this team. They're just a bad matchup for us. They were a bad matchup for us last year. We saw what happened last year. It was a 7-game series. I thought if they won tonight, it would have went 7, and then it's a toss-up at that point. But we can't consistently put them in bad shooting situations. They will find the open guy eventually who has an open shot. They missed a lot of shots tonight too, Indiana, if we're being honest.
Especially
they shot fucking 42% in the fourth quarter. 42%. What do we do? Just take a guess on our numbers in the fourth quarter. What's our shooting? What would you say?
30%.
39%. So again, they match what this team does. It's fucking you go down and score, I'll go down and score. It's never get a stop, then score. It's they score, we score, get a stop, they get a stop. It's tit for fucking tat. It's a joke. And it's supposed to be a championship contender. We have nothing left to get this team better. Unless you want to go out and trade Cole Anthony Towns and all those guys, there's literally like no moves. You have to go with the whole, we're going to run it back and hope for the best.
I hate to say this now because I love Tibbs.
He's not going to get
out coached. I know he's not going to get fired, but
of course, he's definitely getting out coached, man.
He like Rick Carlisle is out coaching him. We are finding
Rick Carlisle's an awesome coach, though.
He
Let's
is.
not get that twisted. He won a championship for a reason. He's highly touted. I mean, there's not many coaches with that team that's going to put them in that position. I mean, they were the hottest team, arguably, in the NBA in the second half. But yeah, at the end of the
bench points, 21 to 36. Like in a team like this, okay, if they're going to score a lot of bench points, your starters have to make up for it, and they don't. That's a fucking problem.
You can't have. By the way, in a game
tonight, what was Brunson's fuck? Because I felt like Brunson
had a good game. He had a good game.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't have a good game.
He didn't have a good Brunson game, but he dropped 31 points. He was 9 of 19.
You cannot. Halliburton had 0 turnovers. Nembhard had 1 turnover. The amount of volume that those guys have the ball in their hand in a game where your teams are, you're combining for over 250 points or whatever. Like, you can't have that. Like, you're not going to beat Indiana that way. You have to find a way to get easy buckets. Everything tonight offensively was hard. And to the Knicks' credit,
story of the series, Frankie and Jimmy, everything is like, again, I said this before, I'll say it again. This Indiana team is who we thought Boston was going to be. That's who they are.
Yeah, you're right, Eddie.
By committee, they got their 2 guys, and they show up. And everybody on that team could shoot. You have no answers for guys like McConnell. Like, it's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, you look at game 1. Game 1 was Neesmith. Game 2 was Miles Turner.
Siakam. No, Siakam.
It was Siakam in game 2 who went off.
Yeah, Siakam had the
Siakam,
30s.
yeah. I said game 3 before it was game 2.
Yeah, and then tonight Halliburton and Siakam. It like they have so many guys that can just randomly drop 30 on your head.
And Siakam and Halliburton they do different things.
Mm-hmm.
They do the exact they complement each other so well.
Played like a true NBA star tonight. Bro, he couldn't be stopped.
Oh,
he could have stopped
bro.
the fucking thing.
5 of 12 from behind the arc. And he's been shooting terribly from deep this postseason. And he showed up tonight.
The craziest thing about the Halliburton situation, he was traded right from the Kings in 2022 to the Pacers as a part of a 6-player deal in exchange
that was for
bonus.
Sabonis. That was a good trade for both teams.
Yeah, it was.
Pacers are winning that trade right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, look, we had a chance to draft Halliburton.
We chose Obi Toppin. Who hit the dagger? I texted you, Eddie, right when freaking Obi hit that dagger. Like, of course, out of all
that's poetic justice, boy.
Out of all people.
Yeah, fuck that guy. He sucked.
I'm telling you, I'm just saying it's an energy thing. I know some people don't believe in that stuff. That's poetic, man.
Team. Yeah.
I mean, he hits that or not, it's irrelevant. We're still losing that game, I would say, but that was like the dagger in the coffin, dude.
Yeah, that one is what sent me out. Like, I still had a little bit of bias hope, but then
it's like Jimmy, we kept on saying. So, like in that fourth quarter, it was pretty much a 10-point lead. They held it, and then it was 7. We couldn't break 7. I said, Jimmy, if we get this to 5 within 5 minutes, I'm feeling good, right? Because Brunson and Cat, you have a chance. With Brunson, you always have a chance, but we could never get it to 5 points. The lowest it was 7. You guys could fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure the lowest the lead was 7 points. So
I think it was. And you know what? Like, I love Brunson, but he is a defensive liability. He's a liability on defense. It is so bad. And I know he's the reason we're in the postseason now, year in and year out. He's probably the reason we're even in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I mean, he's a defensive liability out there on that court. And
it's horrible.
I'm going to say this right now. I don't want to trade Cat. In the offseason, I
want to trade him.
A lot of talk. I don't. He has been our best player this series. He was.
Yeah, but let me ask you, Jimmy.
Only
if you
plus
have a
guy
chance,
tonight. Only plus guy tonight.
if you have a chance to get a Giannis, even a KD, I'm doing it. I'm
Not
sorry.
KD. I would do it for
I'll do it.
Giannis. I would.
Giannis, yes. Giannis, yes.
Giannis, you know they're going to get 5 picks plus whoever they want.
Mhm.
I mean, he's going to be the guy that goes for what Luka should have went for.
But
you know the thing with our wings, I don't understand. How can they not finish at the basket? Like OG and Bridges, especially when they get the ball at the basket, dude, at the rims. Yeah. Oh, Mikel's, dropping back again to go to what he knows, what his confident play is, which is that little floater or that turnaround. Like, dude, you gotta know how to finish at the rim. Like, you can't be a prolific wing in this league when you have a clear, cut to the lane and a little bit of rim protection throws you off to the point that you can't finish. Like, that's why Mikel doesn't get to the free throw line. The guy just really
he's scared of contact. Let's be perfectly clear. Mikal Bridges is scared of contact. He's scared of it because and another thing too, he's not a good finisher. Every time he goes up,
he doesn't even finish.
It gets blocked. It gets blocked. It's true.
Yeah,
it's fucking true.
And even OG, it feels like when he's shooting a layup, no shot. If he's in there for a dunk on somebody, he'll get there. But layups, it's like, does he hit the layup line? Like, it's so bad with OG. Like, with him and McCall, we brought them in not only because of their defense, but Mikal Bridges played in an NBA Finals. OG won an NBA Finals.
Yeah, but he was hurt during that, though.
I know, but when we were down within 10 in the fourth quarter, I feel like
he missed those. Remember those big 2 free throws that he missed?
Yes, that too. I was thinking when we had when you told me, Eddie, that they need to get it within a 5-point game. I'm sitting there thinking after he made the 2 free throws late in the game, like he makes those 2 free throws when we brought it to within 7. It's a 5-point game if he makes the 2 free throws earlier, and it gives us a much better chance. Like the confidence.
You guys remember when I think it was before the 4th when McBride missed that 3?
Mm-hmm.
Then they called that foul call. Yeah, they called that foul call on Hart.
Yeah,
they come back down. I mean, that's a. I think he missed one of the free throws, the guy. But that's a 4-point swing before the 4th. I mean, those are points you got to just take, man. Like, you can't before the second half. I mean, like, they went on a 6-0 run after the first half, like 10 the first half. And like, those are little things that if you're not getting those points, they come back to bite you. That's 10 points right there, 6 and then a 4-point swing. You're not going to recover that against a team like Indiana, against a Rick Carlisle coach team. You're just not.
The closest we got it to in the third quarter was within 5 points after Brunson got, 5 points, 89-84. That was the closest. Let me just fact check this real quick to make sure. Yeah, it was 5 points with about 3 minutes left. That was the closest we got. And then in the fourth quarter, I'm pretty much sure we did not get this within, I think it was 7 points. I think that was the
it was
high.
7 points. It was 7 points.
That was the lowest we cut the lead into, correct?
Yeah. The first quarter and the third quarter killed us tonight. Like, allowing 43 points in the first quarter. I thought the Knicks were going to come out with energy tonight, at least defensively. It looked like offensively they definitely came out with energy, but defensively, there was nothing. And I got to give a lot of credit to the Pacers for knocking down shots, but also I think they were shooting 75% from 3 in that first quarter.
We got it to within 6 in the fourth quarter. We got it to within 6. That was the closest we got. Was with 4:24 left. Towns hit it 2, and then right back. Siakam, you guys probably remember Siakam comes and hits a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
So 6 points to now 9. That was it. That was
teams that are up 3-1 in NBA playoff history have a 96% chance to move on. 13 teams have ever come back from 3-1. Not impossible.
Team,
but
coming back
I think it was didn't the Nuggets come back down 3-1 if I'm not mistaken?
They did a few years ago. I think it's when
I think 2020 or 21 they came back down 3-1, but that was it. And then before that, I think was
we don't have a Jokic.
The Nuggets, was that in the bubble? Are you talking about the bubble?
It might have been, Eddie, I think.
And we don't have a Jokic or a LeBron James.
That's you, Phil.
Like it's we're gonna need a miracle, and the Knicks can definitely win 3 in a row. But then again, this isn't the regular season. This isn't like I hear a lot of people right now saying, "Oh, Knicks can win 3 in a row," but this is the playoffs. 1, 2. Eddie, we talked about it on the last show. Frankie, I kind of want to get your take on this. Like, we built this team. Leon Rose built this team to beat the Celtics, not the Pacers.
That is a fact.
Not the Pacers. We weren't thinking about other teams.
You know the difference between the Celtics and the Pacers? There's one big difference. The point guard.
Mhm.
They have Halliburton, who's long, who's rangy, who covers a lot of ground, who's got great vision. The Celtics don't necessarily have that. So I think the Knicks
they have a guy like Drew Holiday that could stop Karl Anthony Towns. He's that good on defense.
The Knicks need to find a way, if they want to keep this core, that to get a point guard, somebody else. I'm not saying to start, but somebody else that knows how to push the pace, has some vision, doesn't make everything such a hard possession every time, an ISO situation, which it seems like this team really depends on offensively. I'm surprised they were even able to keep up tonight, honestly.
Bro, again, they shot 51% from the field. I've been saying this all series. If you let a team shoot over 50% from the field, you're going to lose, especially to a team like the Pacers that can run and gun you and scores all their points in on fast breaks. They get tons of points in transition, tons of points on the break. How do you expect to win? Again, unless we tried slowing them down and we couldn't.
Yeah,
we couldn't slow them down. It's that simple.
They had 22 fast break points to our 9. And you know what? We shot 46% from the field tonight, which is actually pretty good. But like you said, Eddie, 51%, allowing that team to shoot 51%.
But they do every single game, Jimmy. Other than the last game, they've been over 50% in every one of their games so far.
Yeah, and it's because of the fast break. Like you said, the fast break points have killed us this series. 22.
You heard Carlisle screaming, pace, pace, pace.
Yes. Yeah.
Keep up the pace. They're not going to be able to score 130.
And I don't get how we can't keep up the pace too. It's like
because we don't have an efficient offense.
We don't play that way, Jimmy. We're not we can keep up the pace if you're getting steals, if you're getting deflections and getting this team does that better than us. Hard, Neesmith, who else? Halliburton. They're always running and gunning. Siakam. That's what they had 11
steals tonight. They had 11 steals tonight.
Yeah, what do we have? 6?
You know, Kobe talked about this, right? Something called accidental basketball, accidental offensive play. I think the Knicks fell into that a little bit tonight. When scoring is almost meaning there's no rhyme or reason. It's just Cat figure it out. Brunson figure it out. Get an offensive rebound. There's really nothing easy offensively. There's no real sets. There's nobody that is really trailing or spotting up correctly at the 3-point line. There's no they're not well spaced. And Kobe was saying that in regards to why he loved the triangle. He's like, no matter what, the triangle, you can divert things. Similar to like what Golden State used to do. The Knicks offensively, man, it's all very like figure it out. It's very accidental.
Roll and it's
a talent thing. It's just we're more
iso. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You can't guard Brunson, you can't guard Cat. And then we'll figure out how to get the other guys involved. And maybe we'll have Mikal.
And then what they do is they put a bigger guy like Neesmith on Brunson, and he kills them. He fucking kills them.
Yeah. Every time, it felt like only Brunson was scoring when Neesmith was not guarding him. Like, he was getting space off the other defenders. So, like, even when Shepherd was guarding him, Brunson was cooking Shepherd. But when Neesmith came back on that floor, I mean, Neesmith is 6'6" against a 6'1" Brunson?
Yeah, like Brunson, OG Anunoby, another guy tonight to me.
Yeah,
he look good, but missed so many fucking buckets underneath the hoop. Like they can't. Like he gets fouled, he can't finish.
1 of 7 from behind the arc too from him. It was terrible.
1 of 7.
1 of 7 from behind the arc, and he's
a guy. This all comes back to game 1 because, and forget about snatching the soul necessarily. When you lose a game like that. The game you're supposed to win. Indiana was going to win tonight. They had a better game plan. They were more focused. They were at home. They had just lost a home game. They didn't want to be embarrassed at home. They were going to win tonight. If you won game 1, then you're 2-2 in the series, right? Like that's how it's supposed to be. It's tough to recover when you lose 2 games at home, especially like we lost in game 1. It comes back to bite you. It's always an uphill battle.
All we do is trail this team. We never have a lead. Again, highest lead was 2 points. When you play from behind over and over, it mentally hurts your game. Think about it. Think about it. Every single we played 4 games in a series. Every single, other than game 1 where we were up, ever since we lost that lead, we've been playing from behind. That's not a winning recipe. That's not winning basketball. That's
and you're
losing.
forcing everything. You're overdoing things. You're getting bad fouls. You're trying almost too hard. You're trying to recover. You're trying to make it up. You know that maybe you're better in certain ways, but you're down. So it's like the game plan just changes. This team doesn't really have a structure offensively that they're going to be able to be up 10 or 15 against Indiana. I mean, were they up at all? I mean, I'm curious. I mean, we can find it out later, but I'm curious what our biggest lead was in this entire series.
2 points tonight. And then I think obviously our biggest lead was when we blew
game 1.
Yeah. Well, other than that, it's been about 2 points tonight. The other night, what was it? We won by 6, and that's about right. That's about where we were the entire game.
Yeah. And now game 1 is going to mean everything. Over the offseason, we're all going to be talking about game 1, game 1, game 1. Because like Frankie said, this is a series if we win game 1. All you had to do was out.
We're up now. We win game 1, it's at least tied.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Game 2, I give Indiana. They won that game fair and square. They beat us. Game 3, we beat them. Fine. But what do you now like even for the most hopeful Knicks fan, you really think they're going to win 3 in a row? It's almost impossible.
I think we might have overlooked this team a little bit. I think they came off the high of beating Boston. They were feeling themselves a little too much. Fans were too. We all were. We sort of overlooked these guys. These guys are kryptonite, in a way. They play a different brand that we're not really equipped to play. And then when you lose a game like game 1 that you had, that really gets into your mentals and you kind of see what happened. It's just it's an unfortunate situation. Now the Knicks, assuming the series is done, guys, they're going to have to go into the offseason and either they're going to run it back or they're going to make some moves.
What choice do they have?
Yeah, add to the bench.
You move someone, but
that's really the only thing I see happening. I don't see this team trading for Cat for 1 year and just giving him away. As much as I think I want to keep Cat, I think the guys that I would trade for like a Giannis would be like OG Anunoby and Josh Hart.
But they won't take it.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, we don't have the first round picks.
Think about how many teams could offer a better package. They're going again. The first thing you want is picks. Any team like that's going to want a bunch of picks, which we don't have.
I saw a tweet the other day, right? And I like Cat. I'm a big Cat guy, but the tweet was, would you trade Cat, McBride? I don't know if Bridges was in it, but maybe Bridges or OG. And then actually, no, they weren't even in it. And a few first rounders for Giannis. Be like, no way, don't break up the core. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
if you can get Giannis in here to play with Brunson, I don't give a shit who else is on the floor. I really don't. You want to make your bet with Cat? That's fine. Him and Brunson have to know how to play a 2-man game. They clearly don't. They don't get how to play off each other. And listen, this is their first year playing together. So like, if you want to look at the upside, they might need some time. They're getting a little battle tested. They've been, Tibbs' teams have been climbing. The thing is Tibbs Buck Showalter? Is Tibbs someone that's going to get you, there, but not there? You know what I'm saying? And that's something that they're going to have to decide on. Tibbs signed an extension last year. So
he's not
are they going to break that contract and pay all,
Look,
he's a Leon Rose guy. I don't see him leaving at all.
I mean, Tibbs in the playoffs notoriously is not the best. I'll just say that because
you're 3 highest paid players. You guys ready? 3 highest paid players in the second half. Brunson, Towns, and OG shot 9 of 23. 9 of 23 in the second half. That's your closeout guys. That's the guys that are supposed to take you home to winning the fucking game. 9 of 23.
Mm-hmm.
You don't win like that.
And also, like, I know we just mentioned game 1, but I take a look at game 3. We should have been swept. If Cat doesn't go off in game 4, we're swept. It would have been Pacers in 4.
Yeah, I'll say this to Phil's comment. Good comment, by the way. He said, I like Cat and Brunson, but they can't play together. It's one or the other. I'll say this. Cat plays better when Brunson's not in the game. I don't know if it's the opposite for one reason. When Brunson has Cat on the floor, the lane isn't as clogged. When you have Mitch in there and you have some of those other bigs, they can clog the lane a little bit. Brunson has an easier path, less traffic. So Brunson actually plays better when Cat's on the floor because Cat's sort of, lurking around the 3-point line, gives him some space. That's why Brunson's been struggling a little bit, because they're kind of either playing him or Cat in situations, depending upon rotations. But, Brunson's been off this whole series for the most part. I mean, he's still Brunson. I'm not going to hate on the guy. We're not here without the guy, so we can kill him all we want, but we're not here without Brunson. I think we found some magic with Cat in his ability to just be an ISO scorer and a beast. I mean, he was owning Turner the last couple games. I mean, Turner can't guard that guy. So, but it's not enough. I mean, Cat's going to score and they're going to score, so they're going to match everything he does. And then,
yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, they're going to match what he does. I mean, he has a crazy, move at the top of the key, does a little spin, gets to the lane, drops one off the, off the backboard right in, and then they come down and score easily. Siakam does a turnaround. That, they make it look easy. We make it look hard. That's the difference.
No, but look at when you watch Boston and Tatum and Brown are their stars. It's the same sort of thing, man. They don't really play well together. It's ISO ball. You could win with ISO ball. It's you need other guys to step up. To me, they don't have that number 3 guy, a consistent guy that can come up and get a basket when you need it. That was so evident tonight, especially in that fourth quarter when we got the lead down to 6 points. We had the ball. We had the chance to make it a 3-point fucking game, and you have nobody. Mikal Bridges, he tried, Jimmy, like we talked about. He tried 3 shots, missed all 3 of them. You can't miss, especially when every single time they go down, you can't stop them. It's an ingredient for failure.
Yeah.
They're going to fail like this. You got to hit shots. They don't have that third guy. And it sucks because I wish Mikal Bridges was that guy, but he's not. He's not.
Yeah. And even with the Suns, he wasn't that guy. And even with the Nets, he was that guy. He was the number 1, but that's also because the Nets sucked.
They never won a fucking thing.
Yeah. So, I love Bridges. He's a great defender, especially in that Boston series, but we haven't even really seen that defense this series. I haven't seen anything from him defensively.
Bro, he's
matchup.
guarding Halliburton, and they mentioned this on the broadcast. Halliburton was he's 6 feet in front of Halliburton. If he does a step back and shoots, you have all the space in the world. He's going to burn you every single time.
Yeah. It's like we were challenging Halliburton to shoot. And I get it because he's not a terrific.
He was on tonight.
Yeah. But yeah, he was nuts tonight. We couldn't stop him. He dropped 30, had 5 threes on 12 attempts. Why? I get, sometimes daring someone to shoot. Like everybody dares Josh Hart to shoot. But when they're on, Halliburton was on tonight, and Halliburton isn't a Josh Hart. Halliburton is Halliburton. He can take over a game. Why not step up on him? I don't understand.
Do you guys think they should have put Mitch in that fourth quarter when we were struggling to stop the other team?
Well, I was going to say that. I was going to bring that up. I mean, not to play the plus-minus game because that's all.
No, that's been evident. It's been, you know what? The plus-minus in this series actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, if you want to play that game, Mitch had the worst plus-minus tonight by far. In 19 minutes played, was a minus 20. The only player that was in the plus that started tonight was Cat +3, OG -1, Mikal -13, and then Brunson -16 in that plus minus. McBride -14. DeLon Wright though +11 and Shamet +6. Shamet had miniature minutes at the end, but yeah, man, it was just.
Shamet get tonight?
Huh?
Did he play 15 minutes tonight, Shamet, or no?
11.
11. That's all he played.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another guy too. We were all
had 3 assists though.
Yeah. But and again, he's here to hit 3-pointers. He's here to give you some offense off the bench. And if he doesn't give you offense, he's borderline useless. I know he could play a little defense, but he doesn't have size.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, outside of those 3 shots Bridges missed at the end that were huge, every single one of them could have changed maybe a little bit of the momentum swing. Bridges had 3 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 3 turnovers. Tied for the lead on
who had the most turnovers tonight? Brunson?
I think it was Josh Hart, right?
Josh Hart had 5. So starters, he tied Brunson with 3 for starters. And then Hart had 5 turnovers, which is
That
crazy.
tonight was one of Josh Hart's worst games of the year. And he's had a lot of them now. And I know they don't want to break that whole Villanova thing up, but he's the guy that's worth $20 million. I look at him just as like a salary filler. I mean, if you're able to get something for him, I know they probably won't do it, but
yeah, because that's Brunson's best friend, and I hate that. I hate that thing. It's like, I get you guys are boys, but we traded Dante DiVincenzo, and I hate bringing it up, but there is one guy I would rather have right now. It's Devo over Josh Hart, because at least Devo can knock down some threes consistently.
right.
And I hate
yeah,
bringing
man.
him up.
It sucks. Let me tell you why it sucks. Because everybody's healthy. And this doesn't come around every year where you're
right.
healthy.
That's
in
a
the
good point,
playoffs.
Eddie.
It never happens like this. And the fact is we're fully healthy and we're losing to a team that we're better than. We really, on paper, we're better than. But in the game, they're clearly better than us.
Well, we knew, like, when this team was constructed before the season, people were bringing up the fact that Cat and Brunson being on the same team could be defensively liable, right? Like, having them both, that was exposed. You also heard, and I said this, that Bridges and OG are not ISO scorers and actually struggle to a degree to score unless they're really in a flow.
They're
hitting their
pieces.
spots. Yeah, like OG tonight, he had a huge 3, but he was 1 of 7 from 3 tonight. I mean, like, come on, it's like you got to be better, man. Bridges, you got to be better if you're gonna be this wing stop thing.
That's such a bunch of.
No, I'm just saying if you're not playing defense, well, your OG can't guard Siakam. Mikal really can't really. These guys are either too small and shifty for him, creative, or they're too big. He's kind of out of place. It's just a bad matchup for us. But you got to give us something offensively. Someone's got to blow up offensively. If one of these two had a 30-point game, things are different. We're having a different convo, and that's where I think we really fell short with these guys. Is both of them averaged 17 in the ECF, and OG had over 20 tonight, but it was a whatever 20. I mean, someone's got to go off, take the pressure off of Brunson and Cat.
He's supposed to be the guy. OG Anunoby's supposed to be the guy that gets stops. 50, again, he's your main guy. He's your main defender. Bro, he wasn't impactful tonight. He wasn't impactful at all. And he's just giving up basket after basket. You let them shoot 51%. I mean, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. They shot over 60% in the first quarter. That set the tone for the entire game. And then the turnover. Oh, man. I mean, every time we try to go on a run, we fucking fumble the ball and turn it over.
Yeah.
You think you're going to win like that? Come on.
I don't want to defend these guys right now, but also a little bit of knock on Tibbs again. Like, where are the off-ball screens? I haven't seen a single off-ball screen, I think, all series.
No, they don't do any
you
curls.
won't see an off-ball screen to free up Mikal or anybody,
And it's ridiculous.
It's like, yeah, you don't see it.
The best teams, you look at championship teams, it's not all off-ball screens, but they will do them.
This team has one legit wing that can hit threes in those situations, and that's Mikal. They needed another one. And he hit threes and Brunson, but not in those kind of positions. They're not. Yeah, you can't really off-ball them. Mikal, for some reason, just they had a few. I don't know if those are off-ball, but they had those inbound plays towards the end that he just missed. Man, he missed all night.
3 in a row.
Yeah, Bridges, the one that we tried to get Shamet in the corner, that like a turnover, not a turnover there, but I was kind of hoping we could get it to Shamet because I think he's our best spot up shooter on the team. And I love that we want to put Brunson out there so much. I love that we want to put Josh Hart out there so much, but there comes a point in time where Tibbs needs to make adjustments. And, Landry Shamet, he's a spot up shooter. Get him some open looks. I felt like we could have used him a lot more in this series. He's a guy that can change the tide of a game. And, you don't give him any minutes in the regular season. So when they even come in the postseason,
they're not ready.
In the flow. Yeah, they're not ready. So it just made no sense to me.
Even listen, and another thing I'll say too, when you know that you're struggling to score like we have basically this entire series, don't you want to give Kolek a few minutes? I mean, I know this guy's been brought up.
No,
Eddie, when he played Kolek, he is extremely bright.
He's
he finds open guys. Eddie, he has Remember during the regular season, though, there was stats about, 10 straight possessions. Kolek either assisted or scored. I'm just saying, try something. They play McConnell. They have no problem. I mean, you want to develop someone, play him a little bit. We played DeLon Wright. That proved to be a pretty good move. Play someone some minutes. Right. You don't know what they're going to give. Maybe he'll spark things up. Maybe he'll find someone, trail into the lane. Maybe he'll, make the right play. I just, maybe he'll find somebody open in the corner. Brunson's not that player. Brunson's a score first point guard. That'll never change. He's not going to come out and drop 13 assists like Halliburton did tonight. He's just not going to do that.
The assists have been so down in the playoffs. It's not even funny. I mean,
yeah, because they're isoing everything.
They don't get any assists. They don't move the fucking ball. It's ISO.
Pacers
and you had a chance there in the third quarter when we got them into the penalty. We had a chance to really take a dent and tie up that game. And never, again, closest got 5 points. 5 fucking points.
Yeah. And like you said, Eddie, the assists have been killing us. We had 17 assists. They had
24, 26, 29.
29.
Yeah. When we would get that during the regular season, it was like a guaranteed win. We don't move the ball in the postseason, if you notice. They don't move the ball. Everything sticks.
Yeah. And Frankie said it earlier. It's like ISO ball with Cat and Brunson. That's all it is.
And where Carlisle does a good job too, even a guy like Ben Mathurin, right? Like he was averaging 16 a game in the regular season. So it's not like he's some scrub like people assume. 6 overall pick. I mean, he's a good enough player, right? That was waiting for his opportunity.
In 12 minutes.
Yeah, you're looking at Neesmith. Neesmith really didn't do anything until since game 1. He didn't do much the rest of the series. But then you have guys like Mathurin coming in. Nimhard had a good series. McConnell constantly just doing the right thing on the court, man. Obi had a pretty good series for his standard too, man. Like they all played well. There's no weaknesses on that team.
Defense well. And they were
the only weakness Indiana has, if you want to break it down offensively, is when it's a slower pace game and it slows down and it's a half court game. They don't really have one guy that they're gonna, be able to.
That's what makes them so good, Frankie.
And makes Siakam so good too. When they're hot, they're hot.
But don't you see that though? Any one of these guys can score.
Yeah.
And even the guys off the bench. You give it to them, you put them up and you give them a good look, they knock it down. And they knock it down half the time. How the fuck do you expect to win like that? If you don't get stubs and every time you go down or every other time you go down, they're hitting and we're not, how do you expect to beat a team like that? You don't. You don't beat a team like that. It's that simple. They're going to have a lot of fucking things to question in the offseason. That's what I'm saying.
Siakam for the series, you want to hear some crazy numbers? He's averaging almost 26 points a game, 25.8. Siakam, 54% from the field and 50% from 3. Siakam's been
better than Cat.
Yeah, better than anyone on our team.
Brunson
traded for the wrong Raptor. We traded for the wrong Raptor.
I think he would have cost him more though, Jimmy.
Probably.
Yeah, he was going to cost picks. You look at OG Anunoby, 22 points, but do you guys think it was an impactful 22 points? I don't.
No, especially with the missed free throws. Like those 2 missed free throws, I think, killed the feeling of a comeback. It killed the momentum. Because when he knocked down the 2 free throws after that, instead of a 7-point game, it's a 5-point game. And like you said, Eddie, you bring it to within a 5-point game with a minute left.
You got a chance.
It's hard to do, but yes, you have a chance. You have a chance. And we just couldn't do it. And I hate saying the refs kind of cost us because they did not. But the refs, getting into that early foul trouble in the fourth quarter, I think they had 6 minutes in the bonus in the fourth quarter. That didn't help either. So you need to make your free throws, especially when they're in the bonus. And that's the biggest thing.
Look, and that's another thing. We slowed them down and didn't capitalize. Mm-hmm. We got them in the penalty, especially in the third quarter, and we didn't capitalize. We're slowing them down. We're getting to the line almost every single time, and you're not capitalizing on that. That stops. That's defense. So this whole bullshit about the wing stop, it's fake news. Mm-hmm. They don't stop. They're good, but they're not where they need to be, and that's great. And everybody's healthy. So to me, the Knicks have no excuses.
None.
And you say, oh, well, it's the first year they get it. Fuck that. They're all healthy.
Mhm.
Win.
You would think
Don't
coming
put
into
them
this
behind every
series
fucking
too
game.
that Mikal could guard Halliburton a little bit, right? Halliburton's averaging 24 a night with 11 assists. You think they could guard Pascal, having the best, playoff series he's maybe ever had. That's the difference. And then they're going to have guys hit shots, either Nembhard, Neesmith, Turner, tonight Mathurin. Like, you're not going to win if their two core guys are just playing even better than they did in the regular season. You're not going to catch up with that stuff. But guys, the Knicks are going to Aruba though. So Eddie,
Yeah,
are you going to join them? Or have you ever been to Mumba Beach?
Can you guys share
It's a
the
great
link
spot,
in
by the
here
way,
to
if you've
some
been to
people
Mumba.
that want to come up? I don't know. Somebody said they want to come up. If you guys
Yeah,
could
have
share
them
the
come up.
link.
Yeah.
I can't do it from here.
Do you want me to put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Yeah, just throw it in the chat. If anybody wants to come up, open mic, I'll give somebody the mic. But I'm so disgusted with this fucking team. I really thought, man, we could have had a chance to get to the finals. And we probably ultimately would have lost to Oklahoma City. But at least you get there. You know what I'm saying? This is not 2 years in a row you're beaten by the same team. Same thing. And the injuries. Well, what's the excuse this year? We had no injuries. Everybody's fucking, everybody's healthy. What's the excuse? What's their excuse going into this offseason? What now do you do? Do you bring Mitch back? Is he going to play another fucking 20 games, or is he going to play the whole postseason?
That's the issue with Mitch. That's the issue with Mitch. It's like he was so impactful when he returned, but can he stay healthy?
Exactly. Where's the guy where's the third guy on offense that could give you a fucking bucket? For me, when I watch OG Anunoby get a bucket, he struggles. Mikal Bridges struggles to get a bucket. The only guys that don't struggle are Cat and Brunson. And Brunson tonight struggled.
Mm-hmm. Even the 1-3 OG had, it was Siakam was right in his face. It was just a chuck it up three. And luckily he made it. That was luck. That was not skill. That was not anything other than luck. He missed 6 threes tonight.
Let me ask you guys, how much blame, because the timeline's going wild on Tibbs, how much blame do you give tonight's loss on Tibbs?
You got to hit your shots and make stops. How is Tibbs making stops? If you can't make stops, you don't win. It's that simple.
But he's a defensive coach. You would think he'd be able to maybe do something there, Eddie, no?
What is there to do? If Bridges was getting cooked by Halliburton, right? Siakam cooked fucking OG. What am I missing?
Do you know what I said the Knicks should have tried in this series? At some point, people laughed, but that's common ground for me. They should have tried a zone. Throw it out there.
Spoelstra throws it out all year, Frankie, right?
I'm just saying, try throw them a loop. Even if you play a zone for 5 minutes, throw them a loop. Why the fuck not? It doesn't make, like, you're not stopping them anyway. Try a zone. Throw something. Make Carlisle think a little bit. I know that's weird and crazy, but it's really not. When you're getting run out the gym, offensively speaking, or defensively speaking, you got to try something, man. They tried DeLon Wright. He proved to be a good on-ball defender.
He was shit.
Yeah, he puts a little pressure on the ball.
But he was shit tonight. He wasn't.
But coming into a series, Brunson's not a great defender. There's nothing the guy can do. He's smaller. He's not that quick. He's not that guy.
Then this team is fatally flawed. If you have two guys in your starting lineup that can't defend, you really think you're going to beat the best teams?
Well, you got to. No. I mean, listen. You got there, right? You proved that you could play with these guys. Let's not, say that.
We could beat Boston. That's all we proved. And now Boston's done next year. They're not going to have anybody. What have you really proved, Frankie? Jimmy, what am I missing here? Because to me, you proved that you need a fucking third option, which you don't have, and you need some guys off the bench that could actually have some impactful minutes.
And they don't have that.
Deuce McBride. Everybody capes for Deuce McBride. He had a shit game tonight. Sorry.
I think I want to put a little bit of blame on Tibbs, but I also want to put a little blame on Leon Rose because, like you said, Eddie, we don't have anybody off the bench that can provide impactful minutes. Deuce is great, but Deuce is not going to come in like a TJ McConnell, like a Peyton Pritchard. Like, he's not going to come in and give you points, like consistently at least. He'll have his games, but not consistently.
Yeah, he's not running the offense. That's the difference. Like Pritchard, McConnell, they run the offense. Like Deuce, he can bring the ball up. He's got some good handles, but he's not his mind. He's a 2. He's a 2 playing a 1. It's like similar to Brunson in a way too, right? Like they're shooting guards in point guards, positions, and like that's really not their game.
And also,
every weakness that we had was exploited in this series. That's just a fact. Every single one. You tried.
That we're such a great shooting team, and I don't know what it is for the fucking series, but I want to say we're shooting probably about 45% for the series, and that's probably being generous. If anybody could look what we're shooting for the series, we're the team that averaged like when we were on our game, we're over 50% in every single win. We had, when we had tons of assists, you had the 30 assist mark. We were 22-2. What happened?
Yeah. And also, I do want to put a little bit of blame on Tibbs here. I know, Eddie, you said Tibbs isn't, impacting that much on the defensive end, but like I see Neesmith fighting through screens. I don't see McCall Bridges. I don't see OG Anunoby fighting through screens. Like they're going straight at Cat and Brunson. Tell your players to fight through screens. It's almost like they weren't even trying. They're just giving up and switching after switch after switch after switch. Fight through a screen. Stay on your guy. And Neesmith did that tonight on Brunson. He's done that all series on Brunson.
He's killing him. He's killing him.
The Knicks scored also tonight, guys. We were 33 of 39 from the free throw line. Had some bad misses towards the end, but they, you scored 33 points at the line. They scored 27, as always. They're right there. But you scored 33 points from the line. You shoot 47, 46%. You'd think you'd be able to, hold a team and win that game. But look at game by game. The games that were high scoring, they beat us. The lower scoring games, the slower paced games, the one game, we beat them. And then that was it. I mean, it's just that's the formula, man. That's why Indiana was so good this year in the second half of the season. I mean, they were blowing teams out. They were beating the Clevelands. They were beating everyone, beating the Nuggets. They beat everybody. They beat the Timberwolves. Indiana, they played the Timberwolves. They beat them 119-103. That was, they were killing teams the second half of the season. They found their own and they were confident, and that's what you get, man.
I said this in the last time we had a live. Indiana has the second best record to Cleveland since January 1st. And nobody acknowledges that. Everybody just throws that stat out the window. They have been the second best team in the NBA, other than Cleveland, record-wise, from January 1st on. They started out the gate. They were bad out the gate, but then they came back and they win. And now this is 2 years in a row where they actually keep going. They got to the ECF last year, and now this year they're going to get to the finals. That's what good teams, they grow. And you could say the same thing about us. But next year, do we have confidence right now that we could beat Indiana? I don't.
Yeah.
With this squad,
Halliburton's going to have that confidence next year. Like Siakam and Turner, they're going to continue to grow as a unit, where we hope that Cat and Brunson can continue to grow as a duo. They're going to continue to grow. The Detroit Pistons.
They could put Mathurin in the starting 5, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Mathurin might level up and become a really good player.
He's only 22 years old. Like, there's so many little things about these scrappy teams in the East this year where I look at them next year and I think they can take that next step, especially like you mentioned earlier, Eddie. Boston might blow it up this year. Like, they don't have the money.
They'll keep Brown and Tatum.
Yeah, they'll keep Brown and Tatum, but Drew Holiday's probably not coming back. Porzingis is probably definitely gone. So
they're going to dump him to get under the apron.
Yeah. So like
the Knicks could do a few things though with the bench, even with the starting lineup.
But again, you're hoping on a prayer.
But you have a core there with two potential, superstar-ish guys in Cat and Brunson that if you could figure out a way to have them, like Jimmy's saying, gel a little bit more, learn a two-man game, but you got something there.
Defense, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
So
of
what
course.
are we talking about here?
You got to outscore them. I mean, they got this far playing together, right? So, I mean, I hate using that analogy, but you got this far, right? Like, you're not far. It seems so far, but they're not that far. But we don't know. Are we going to play? What does Cleveland do? What does Boston do? What does Detroit do. I mean, you don't know what teams are going to do in the East.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orlando's going to take a step forward for sure next year.
Yeah, that's my problem with the build of this team. You built the team around two guys that can't play defense for shit, and then the two guys that actually can play defense can't step up and give you a bucket when you need it. We needed OG Anunoby, and we needed Mikal Bridges in these last 4 games, and for the most part, they've come up short, very short.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do?
Why does it say Bridges was 4 of 5 from 3? And I vividly remember him missing.
That's
those
what I told.
Yeah, Eddie told me
They might have been 2-point shots, or maybe the box score gave him.
I looked at the shot charts. I guess 2 of those shots were not on the 3-point. I could have sworn he was behind the 3-point.
But still, no excuse to miss those. Still, no excuse to miss those.
Yeah,
whether it's a long 2 or a long 3 or a short 3, he's got to hit those shots. Because, like you said, Eddie, we brought OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges here to not only play defense, but for one of them to be that third scoring option. Whether it's OG, whether it's Bridges, one of them has to step up down the stretch. They can't rely on just Brunson and Cat. They can give you everything they got. And Cat gave us everything he had in that fourth quarter last game. Brunson has given us everything he's had, at least in the first 2 series. Right now, he's been struggling, but they've done their job. Bridges, Anunoby, they have not done anything.
And Bridges, you can't come in a game like this and have.
What are these guys averaging for this series? Can you guys give me the fucking numbers? The averages.
OG and Mikal points wise are 17 each, which is more than I thought.
Rebounds, steals, all that shit. Can we get that up?
Mikal doesn't get steals. He doesn't get rebounds. He doesn't get assists. He doesn't get blocks. I don't know what he doesn't. He doesn't hit momentum changing threes. He has that little, mid-range game that's great, Rip Hamilton like, and that's about it. I mean, that's who he is. He's like a Rip Hamilton. I mean,
some people
about it.
So some people will say, hold on, Jimmy, real quick. Some people will say, well, we made that trade for Mikal Bridges to compete, so we went all in. But you went all in on the wrong guy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean,
you don't build a bench. They go all in and they don't build a bench. Like
they should have in that deal for Cat, they should have done what they could to keep Dante here. I get Randall. You saw Randall last night was a complete disaster.
Yeah,
you're gonna get that with that guy. So I get the Randall thing 100%. But you had to keep Dante here. He was a guy in games like this that you want coming off the bench.
He was a really good third option.
Yeah, really and you saw it last night when the pressure cooks up, when things are getting hot. He loves the moments, man. Last night and seeing him wearing those orange shoes too, I was getting a little sad watching that. But
yeah, it sucks.
It is what it is. But the Knicks at this point, they need to figure out if Tibbs is the guy. And I mean, they're not going to get rid of him, but
let me stop you right there. Mike Malone is there. Mike Malone is for the taking. Do you go down that route, or do you say Tibbs built this team?
How does the contract work, Eddie, though, with coaches that he just got an extension? Like, how much money would you have to eat if you can't just
buy him out? They bought out on Detroit.
You buy out the rest of his deal?
Yeah, Monty Williams. Detroit owes him like $80 million or some crazy shit.
I don't know if Dole and Mr. D upstairs are going to agree to that.
Cheap. But he's not cheap.
He's not cheap, but I mean, that's a big move.
Do you guys do that?
I mean, you want my honest opinion? I mean, probably. Tibbs' playoff record's terrible, by the way. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at that.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not great in the playoffs.
He's never got to the finals.
He got a little screw with that Chicago team because they ran into Miami. That team could have
and Derrick Rose got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's always the same thing with Tibbs, though. He's a stubborn guy. And I hate saying that because I'm a fan and he's an NBA coach, so he definitely knows more than me. But he never makes adjustments. It's always my way or the highway. That's what it always is. And I get, he brought us here, but Frankie, I think you brought up a really good point. Is he, it's baseball to basketball. Comparing those things is sometimes tough, but I'm going to compare it right now, like you did earlier. Is he the Buck Showalter of the Knicks right now? Is he a guy who can change the culture, get you to the playoffs?
He changed the culture.
He did 100%, and I give him a lot of credit for that. Or maybe it's time to, say, hey, Tibbs, we don't want to let you go completely, but maybe we put you in the front office with some type of role and we hire a new coach.
I'll never go for that.
And I know because Tibbs is a my way or the highway guy. And
He's a
that's what it always
coach. He's
is.
not a front office guy. He's not. I'm
I
just being
know.
real.
But Eddie, he definitely had some say in those front office moves. I mean, you don't bring Cat in coming from Minnesota with Tibbs. I mean, he's got some say. He has more control, I think, than we think he does.
I agree. But again, you got to improve this team somehow. And we don't have picks to do it. We don't really have players to do it. I don't know. Hold on, let me.
That's the
But
tough
guys,
part. It's got to be in
the
free
series
agency.
isn't over though, guys.
We need to add to the storyline. We need a lockdown shooter. We need a lockdown shooter to get.
And the worst part is, Phil, we had that knockdown shooter last year, like Frankie said. Devo was that guy.
I don't think Tibbs goes to the front office, but Jimmy, you're right. We had the knockdown shooter. We have that number 3 guy, and we got rid of him. And we gave up a pick on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
That extra pick, even though it was this year's. Still,
I wish it was Josh Hart in that trade. I don't know if that could have gotten the job done, but I wish it was Josh Hart over Devo. And I think the only reason it wasn't Josh Hart over Devo is because Brunson's best friend is.
it wouldn't have worked out financially. They would have had to send another player back.
Yeah.
Eddie, I know you like the win probability stuff. The Knicks at one point tonight had a 50. The only time it was in our favor, they had a 51% chance to win when we were up 64-63 before the second quarter ended. And then that dropped with 132 left. We had a 51% chance to win. Before the half, that dropped to
65%,
to 70% my Indiana's favor. I'm telling you, that 6-point run to close out the first half, I told a bunch of my buddies that was the beginning of the end for them, because all the momentum that they had, they were climbing, they were clawing. They just kind of snatched it from you there. You can't have 6 points there and then the McBride miss and then the free throws. I mean, that's 12 points. I'm bringing up. You can't do it, man.
Yeah. Well,
I think Devo, he is a free agent, right? I think
he's not for another 4 years.
He's
3
got
years.
1 more year, I think, on his deal.
2 more at least.
2 more.
Does he? I thought I saw something. They have like an option on him, whatever. But
I don't think it's a team option, if anything.
Yeah, the second half never got close. If you want to bring up win probability, the closest it got was them having a 71% chance. But that thing was
you can tell by the spread,
right to 100% on Indiana side.
The in-game spread went from 3 to 9.5.
This team needs, I know Devo is not an option in the offseason, and I hate bringing up the offseason because we're, in the middle of a playoff series. Yeah, we're soon to the offseason talk, so I want to bring it up real quick. What about Buddy Hield? I think he's a free agent, right? Knockdown shooter.
Can't play defense. Another guy that can't play defense.
But still, he's a knockdown shooter. If you can get enough defensive players in here off the bench too, that's another key.
If you want to put him on the bench, that's one thing.
Yeah. Oh no, he'd be off the bench 100%. Also, I want to put Josh Hart back on the bench.
Would he take a lower salary deal though, Jimmy? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is he going to take like $4 or $5 million, or $2.5 million? That's what we have to offer. We have nothing to offer financially. Nothing.
You know what's another crazy stat tonight? Both teams committed 27 fouls, so you had 54 fouls in this game. That's insane. You look at the starting lineups of both teams: 4-3-6, 4-4 with Indiana. Us 4-5, 4-4-3. I mean, they were just fouling everyone. Hart fouled out with 6. I mean, the whole game was crazy. The refs really called a tight one tonight, and I thought maybe that could help the Knicks. It could slow things down. It's not slowing it down with Indiana.
Do you guys give this team? Do you guys give this team any shot in Game 5, or you think it's done?
I mean, you got to give anyone a shot, but I think it's done. I think they're cooked right now.
Oh, clearly for the series they're cooked.
Yeah, I think Game 5.
They jerk us off and give us some fucking tease and then push a Game 6. I don't even know.
I'll be optimistic here. I think they're going to somehow win the next 2 and lose in 7.
Well, I mean, dude, if that happens, that would be incredible.
I
mean, if you can push them to a Game 7, they have to listen. The only way this is going to happen is if they come out Game 5, like the Knicks came out against Boston in Game 6, and you do the snatching of the soul, and you flip the script, then you might start talking about it. But at this point, unless I see something different in game 5, excuse me. I mean, hoping for a game 6 is, to me, I don't see it right now. I think they gentlemen us. I hate saying it. I was optimistic before the series. Yeah, I don't think they're just a bad matchup. They have other things to work on, from coaching, from roster construction. They got a bunch of different things they got to work on, or else you're not competing with these guys. They drop 120 in their sleep, and that's not how we play.
You can't stop these fucking guys. That's my biggest problem.
You
can't. And we have supposedly Mitch and OG. You have Deuce, and you have a bunch of guys that could, on paper, defend. But where is it?
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Also, I think another problem is like the last 2 games. Everyone was pumped up when Mitch was inserted into that starting lineup. It really hasn't worked out. The first quarter, the Knicks have gotten
it was whatever
back-to-back games.
But look at Josh Hart, though, Jimmy. Look at how bad he was tonight.
That too. And I don't really even think it makes a difference with Josh Hart coming off the bench or not. But I think having Mitch in that starting lineup to start kind of hurts the Knicks offensively in the first quarter, especially against a team that is, going to score all those fast break points, that's going to capitalize off turnovers. And
let's go through this really quick. I just want to go through this. Every player in our starting lineup: Mikal, OG, Towns, Mitch, Hart, Brunson. Every single player, you can point out a weakness. Mikal, basically his inability to be physical offensively and defensively. OG, his inability to really just create his own shot. Towns, it's defense. He just doesn't cover enough ground. He's slow-footed out there. Mitch, it's obviously offensively. Brunson defensively, right? And then Hart, it's another similar situation as OG. They struggle to kind of create their own shot or even get other guys involved because they don't really have that vision in their game. Do the same thing with Indiana. What's Pascal Siakam's weakness? I don't know. What's Neesmith's weakness? I don't know. Turner, defensive a little bit, but not even because he's a great rim protector. Yeah, Nembhard, same thing. I mean, any weakness there? Halliburton, what's these guys' weakness? Yeah, do we have better quality players on like an individual scope in a vacuum? Yeah, we probably have 2 or 3 guys.
With a better starting 5, but we don't have
but they constructed a better roster with less talent and a better coach. That's just the reality. And you'll get exposed in the playoffs.
Halliburton's the best player on the court over Brunson tonight, easily.
He's been the best player on the court probably the whole series. And you can make an argument that Siakam's right behind him. You can make an argument both those guys are 1 and 2, Eddie.
They are
best players in this series.
It's not even an argument. They are 1 and 2.
Brunson hasn't even been the best player for the Knicks this series.
Who's it been? Cat, I guess.
I think it's been Cat. Cat's been our best player. He was our best player all regular season against this team. He's the only one who was plus tonight.
What did we go against?
Lineup, at least.
What did we go? 2-1 against him in the regular season?
I think we were 1 and 2.
So we lost. I
could be wrong.
Do you see like every weakness that I brought up with our starting 5 or put Hart in there or start top 6 guys? Like everything for some in one way or another got exposed a bit. Like a good coach is going to expose those things. They're going to force Towns and Brunson to play defense. They're going to force Mikal to create his own shot in OG. They're going to let them kind of try to make something happen. Mikel's catching the ball and kind of scared and looking for Brunson or Cat to kind of give it back to because he doesn't really know what he's doing offensively. I mean, it's going to get exposed. They don't have guys like that. Do you see any guys in their starting 5 that when they get the ball, they're kind of panicking or they're looking for a rally or whatever? Like, no, they're just playing their game. And it's a shame because the Knicks, that game 1, if you win that game, you do have a series here. Absolutely. But when you give them an easy dub and you're not great matching up with these guys, they're going to get theirs. They're going to get another 2 games on you because they're just a better matchup. Now it's 3 because you gave them 1. So you're down 3-1. That's exactly what it is. This series was always going to go 7 to me if we didn't give up the first game. It would have gone 7. I was saying it from day 1. This wasn't a Knicks.
I don't think anymore, though.
I'm saying if you win game 1, it could have went 7. I think they had they're better matched up, but at home with the energy, with our roster and some of the guys we have
playing like shit at home too, Frankie.
I know, but you have to hope that game 7 is kind of like where you clamp down and just kind of make it happen like the Knicks did in game 6. I mean, like you got to hope in that for a game 7 that you just say, all right, this is cute. You guys have, our number to a degree, but we're better and we're going to, make it happen. And they didn't get there because they played with their food. Like a lot of people are saying they did game 1, and to a degree, even tonight, game 2 also. I mean, like they just they can't get over the hump with these guys, and it's because they can't stop these guys.
No, it's like it's not deep. It's really that simple. We can't stop them. That's it.
And they can stop us.
They can.
To a degree.
No, they can. The percentages speak for themselves. Speaks for themselves.
Turnovers too. Like they are every game, even the game we won, they win the turnover battle. And they get points off their turnovers. We don't really score points off our turnovers.
And that's a funny thing, Jimmy, because during the regular season, that was one of our best traits. I think we will turn the ball over, the lowest out of any team.
Mm-hmm.
In the regular season. We never turned the ball over. Postseason been a different story.
Yeah, it's been awful. And the biggest component of that has been, I hate calling out Josh Hart because I love Josh Hart, but it's been him. He turns the ball over.
Brunson also had 6 turnovers in the first game.
Yeah, in game 1 he had a few key turnovers, but the turnovers from Josh Hart, I think he's been really exposed specifically this series. Like he doesn't do anything on offense. He gets rebounds and that's great, but outside of rebounds, what is
that one 3-pointer tonight? That's it, Jimmy.
Yeah, one 3-pointer. What does Josh Hart really do outside of getting offensive rebounds?
Nothing.
Yeah, and he pushes the pace, but
he never scores.
Yeah,
he never scores in the fast break. Never,
especially against this team. Like sometimes he's great coast to coast, and we'll see that. But in this series, he hasn't gone coast to coast at all. I feel like
no. Versus other teams, like he got away with that with Detroit. He got away with that with the Celtics in the regular season. He'd get away with that versus bad teams. But a team like this that literally throws every guy at you, picks you up full court, they don't play that fucking shit. They don't.
You know what's interesting? Somebody said this, like, compare Mikal Bridges for this team versus, like, if we could grab, let's say, hypothetically, a Nembhard or a Nesmith. I'd rather have Nembhard or Nesmith starting in this starting 5 over Mikal Bridges, if you want my honest opinion. I think they're better.
I think that's a fair take.
Yeah, and like Bridges is a better, like he can do more technically. He's longer. He's got, better precision in his game, but he's not that dog, man. And you're playing with a bunch of dogs. I thought the Knicks played their ass off tonight. I'm not going to question that they didn't come out with any fight. They did. You're just fighting someone that it's like a boxing match. I compared it to, like, they didn't get their knockout punch on us last game. They missed. They had us teetering to a degree last time we played them too. And then Cat came in and just recovered, and he got it to knock out. If it wasn't
for that, the series would be over right now.
Yeah. Siakam knocked us out tonight, and Halliburton to a degree. I mean, like, but towards the end, like, Siakam had a few big buckets, and those were the knockouts. And that's it, man. It is what it is. I mean, but you're talking about Mikal Bridges, man. Like, fuck the picks at this point. They're done, but give us something. Like, give us something that, like, takes the pressure off of Brunson and Cat or anybody, OG too. Like do something that, like, is memorable. Make a play. Do something momentum swinging. He never does. I didn't like the trade. Not even the picks were terrible. That was first and foremost. But besides that, I didn't like the player. I never liked Mikal Bridges. I thought he was soft. I thought, yeah, can he shoot? Yes, but can he create his own shot? No. Is he tough? No. Can he finish at the rim? No. Can he?
He's not a lockdown scorer.
Can he start an offense? Do you ever see, like, a nice pass from Mikal Bridges? Like, oh, nice vision on that one. Nice cross court. No. What was the finish? You had a small like that also offensively in OG. You have a small forward that can't do that also. So you're going to team them both up together and then play hard all those minutes, who also has those efficiencies. It's going to come back to bite you. It was not constructed properly. It just wasn't. You needed another wing, or you needed a point guard, a real point guard that could play in this rotation, that could bring the ball up so Brunson doesn't have to. because Brunson's a 2.
or
at the end of the day.
a really good shooting guard.
Yeah, or really good actual 2, not like a 3 masking as a 2. Yeah, I agree with that. They got 2 small forwards, then they have Hart, who's another small forward, only a small forward. They're not 2s and they're not 4s. You saw they can't guard 4s. They can't even really guard 2s. They're legit 3 small forwards that are running the show here as like our sidekick guys, our role players. And I don't like that. I'd rather have a big. I'd rather have a power forward if you're going to do that. So have somebody that could bump. If you have a better Precious, that would have been more valuable in this series than a Mikal, right? Precious could have gave us some minutes if he was better. I don't think I'm not saying him. I'm saying a player like that you could bring on the floor that they're not bumping you down low. Indiana's pretty soft in the paint for the most part. They're not like some team that's bodying you on the paint. Yeah. Miles Turner's a great rim protector, but he was getting bodied all series. If you had a quality 4, a guy that's 6'10", that gives you minutes down low, you could get away with it. He can guard also Pascal if you need him to. Like they didn't have that. They're trying to swing these smalls as hybrid guys that are 2s and 4s. They're not. They're legit 3 small forwards that get way too many minutes that can't score on their own accord. They just really can't. You're not scared of them scoring. And then you just depend on, Jalen and Kat to kind of carry the show offensively, which they did, but they ran into a wall.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, we need like that power forward. We're at least needed it.
Yeah.
And one guy that like completely sparked me right when you said that was like a guy like Jared Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Somebody with his size that can.
Jaren Jackson, someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, Jaren Jackson to me wouldn't really fit this team because he can't fucking rebound. He could defend, but he can't rebound.
Yeah, he can't rebound.
Again, we're going to go into next season. Mitch is not going to play 60 games. That's just who it is. To me, if I'm going to upgrade, I'm going to upgrade in the center. I want a guy that could play both sides of the ball. I'm not. To me, Karl-Anthony Towns is not off the table. Like I'm putting Karl-Anthony Towns on the table.
My biggest issue with Towns outside of defensively, that he's a liability, obviously, he's not a good rim protector. He's not. And if you want me to bring up blocks, he has 1 block this entire ECF, 1 in the first game. He didn't have a block tonight. He doesn't have a block. He didn't block last game, the game before that. He doesn't get blocks. And like blocks aren't the best indicator in that. You just want to but he has no verticals at the rim, dude. So if they're driving in the lane, they're going to have a clear cut, alley there because Cat's not a good rim protector. So that's where I think as a big outside of him in space being a liability, he can't rim protect.
Especially if you're starting center.
Yeah. That's why losing iHeart was such a big deal.
Yeah,
it was all the time, and people laugh at me. Oh, I suck. That guy was fucking incredible for us last year, and he played
quality minutes.
And look at the Thunder this year.
Losing Dante hurt sucked, and we replaced him with what? Mitch next year. Good luck. Good luck getting 82 games played out of that fucking.
Dude, I even saw Chet last night. Chet was protecting the rim left. You saw that kid blocking everything last night. Like, who are we depending on to be that guy if Mitch isn't in the game? OG? I mean, yeah, he can be, but he's not even that guy. He's not like a rim. Mikal, forget it. He's long and he got 7-foot wingspan. He ain't protecting the rim. Cat ain't. The guards, no one's going to help and do anything in that regard. Josh Hart ain't protecting the rim.
Nobody else can dribble.
It's a bad. They're not. The Knicks are a good team. They're a really good team.
They're not good enough.
Yeah, they're not good enough.
Everybody's healthy, and look what you have. We're about to get gentlemen's sweep by Indiana. Everybody's healthy. So what? There's no excuse with like last year. Oh, everybody was out. What's the excuse this year? What is it? Here's the excuse.
Yeah.
Munson and Cat are major liabilities, and your depth, you have no depth whatsoever outside of your top 5. None. I mean, we were literally talking about what a great move that Shamet and DeLon Wright were last game. That's good for 1 game. But are those guys anything more than 1 game? And the answer is no. No.
I wish we got to see a little bit more DeLon Wright. Shamet, I get, but DeLon Wright.
He can't score though, Jimmy. Let's be fair.
I know, right? But if you put him on the court when you put him on the court with like a Cat, but that's the problem. Like you put him on the court with Cat and you take Brunson off the court, you also need that third guy, like you said. And Bridges and Anunoby, offensively, they're not that third guy. So Delon Wright would make total sense on a team like last year's team when you have a Dante DiVincenzo. When we were healthy, maybe Julius Randle could step up, but I hate bringing up Randle because he was kind of a playoff dud for us his whole entire career with the Knicks.
He still is, though. We see that right now.
Yeah.
He's a dud. See, they're both flawed players. Julius Randle, Karl-Anthony Towns, they're both extremely flawed. And what we gave up for Karl-Anthony Towns, to me, was just too much. And what we gave up for Mikal Bridges was too much.
If you would have told me, if I looking at it now, I hate saying it, but Randall for Cat, 100%. But you throw in Devo in there, that's what makes it.
And the pick, and the first round pick.
That too. I'd rather have Devo. Randall.
They converted that pick. It's pick number 18 or 17.
And I'm not too sure, but what if we did, Eddie? You would probably know better than me for sure on this. Like, if we were able to keep Devo and Randall, would we have been able to keep iHeart?
No, see, iHeart left because iHeart got $58 million guaranteed, and he has an option for another. I think it's like 20. He got $29 million for 2 years, so $58 million guaranteed, and then they got an option for like $26 million.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the most we could offer him was 4 years, $72.5 million.
We couldn't
so
even
$18.5 million versus 29 is a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why we couldn't keep iHeart. They thought they were keeping iHeart. I say this all the time, and everybody on these Twitter spaces tells me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. They thought they were keeping iHeart. That's why they made the Mikal Bridges trade. If they didn't think they were keeping iHeart, why would you give up 5 picks? Because you need to still address the center position. Mm-hmm. That's why they traded for Cat, because he then became your de facto center.
And he's not a center.
He's not a fucking center. He's a 4. Why do you think Minnesota did? Why do you think they gave up the house for Gobert?
Yeah.
Because he can't fucking protect. That's it. That's why I'm calling up fucking Miami, and I'm going to see, if they'll give me, if they'll take Cat for Bam and fucking Hero. The money works. Just got to throw on one more contract. Now, Hero can't guard, but Bam can. Now, think about this.
That actually, you know what? In a weird way, that actually fits very well.
I think that would work. And people will laugh at me and call me a fucking fool, but if you have Tibbs as your coach and Bam is your center.
The thing we have to realize, though, the Knicks have been shuffling this lineup and players. You saw we traded Kids, then we traded for Cat, then we gave up what we did for Mikal. These guys need some time also to figure each other's games out. I thought they finally sort of started figuring things out against Boston, how to play together. This is their first year playing together, but you have to ask yourselves this question too: are they going to be able to stay healthy? Huh?
Is it going to get better, and can they still?
Yeah. Is it going to get better? Are they going to get better? Is there a ceiling here?
Is the chemistry going to happen? That's
yeah. It's rare to put together a team like you even saw with the Heatles. Remember that first year? They lost to Rick Carlisle again, a guy who exposes all your weaknesses. They might need another year to see if this thing works. Fans are going to want to trade.
I don't think it works.
But again, if you do that trade, like you're saying, you bring Tyler in, you bring Bam, which we're not going to trade with the Heat, but if we could.
Well, if the Heat would do that deal, I don't know if the Heat would. They probably would.
They might. I mean, if they're rebuilding. But, that might be a better – situationally, that makes a lot of sense. What's his name? Hero's a better Dante in every
Hero's a fucking – that guy can shoot.
Yeah. He's like Dante.
And he's a real number.
Steroids.
He's a real number 2 option.
Yeah, and then you get Bam, that gives you that defensive prowess. But then you'd have to start Mitch potentially, and then
Mitch.
So you're gonna put Bam at the 5?
You can trade Mitch.
How long is that team gonna take to gel, though? I mean, is that I don't know. I mean, it's a good question to have.
Defensive team. The defensive team. You have Bam and Hero, which I don't think they will do that trade. But if they did, think about it. Now you have. Brunson's your number 1, Hero's your number 2, and then you have Bam who could score, right? He could give you points. He's not a 0 at the center, and then you have Mikal and OG. To me, that's a 2-way lineup, and 4 out of 5 guys can defend. Well, Hero not so much. 3, it's sort of like the same thing, but you have a guy in Bam that at least plays. And he had a down year this year. So it's possible you may be able to, if they want Cat, I don't think they will. I don't think they'll trade with us either. I think you're right about that. But I don't know. I'm throwing that out. The honest thing is fantasy. That's fantasy. We don't have 5 picks to offer them.
I mean,
the KD thing, however, is not fantasy. And that's something you could add. That's straight up. That works. Cat for KD.
It's just like,
I'll say this. I'm not in this trade Cat camp, but if there's ever a time you can, it's now.
You go for 1 year, 1 or 2 years.
If there's a season you could get high value for, that guy is going to be a hot commodity if he's on the trade. I don't know what the situation is. Eddie knows those numbers better than me, but if you want to move him, and I'll tell you who else is going to be, you're going to have some Knicks fans.
LeBron James might be available too, by the way.
He's gonna, I was reading about that. He's gonna opt in potentially.
Opt in, but
Laker fans don't want him to opt in. I don't blame him. That experiment's done. Just go with Luka. Right?
I would take LeBron James over Cat any day of the week. It would go further with LeBron James than they did with Cat, in my opinion. Yeah. Even at 40 years old, 41, or he's going to be 40.
And LeBron's a very, egotistical guy. If he won with the Knicks,
let me put that trade out here. I'm going to put out so we maybe get some people here.
Like, we talk about LeBron not playing hard sometimes, but I find it hard to believe LeBron not playing hard in a Knicks postseason team. Like, you win one with the Knicks, you're set in stone as one of the greatest of all time right there. And with his pedigree.
And if LeBron wins here, bro, he's going to get the GOAT thing, right? Yeah. He wants to be the GOAT. You win here, that resume automatically goes up.
100%. And you win 4 championships with 4 different cities, 4 big cities. Well, Cleveland, not so much, but.
What's KD's situation, though?
He's done. He's out of there, bro. He's out.
It's via trade. He's not. He's under contract.
It's via trade.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't mind KD. The only
I think him and
not a KD fan. I think his game's great. I don't know. He's still got something. I don't know if he's still got it, man.
Oh, he's still got it.
Because the Suns aren't that good either. They have a lot of defensive liabilities with themselves.
Yeah, because KD's like a better Mikal Bridges, bro.
Oh, and I would love a better Mikal Bridges, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would too.
Shout out to the 1,000 people in the room, by the way.
Shout outs. Let's see. But yeah, man, it's
finally Frankie and Jimmy. We could actually talk. We could talk in here. We could actually talk like men and not get cut off like children. These other spaces and avenues, huh, Frankie?
You know what the problem is with not even just Knicks Twitter. This is like sports Twitter in general. People don't want to. If you have a great take that they didn't think of, and they're like the arbitrators, like they're like they have to decide what goes and what doesn't. They don't like when you're shining, bro. They don't like shine. You got to kind of do your own things, step in your own lane. I see some great takes in these spaces, the best ones, and the hosts, co-hosts, they shun it. They get nervous. They get jealous. They put their guards up. That's not how you build anything in life. You gotta. Great people deserve the mic. Great takes deserve to be praised, whether you like the person or not. If you're going to hoard things, that's fine. It'll come back to bite you. It's an immature mentality. And I'll say this, the immaturity that you see, I told Eddie, they're going to burn each other alive. It's like wars. It's like little empires, like no one's got each other's back. They only have your back because you're helping them get clout. Once that stops, once the beef happens, you're not inside mature enough as a person to respect greatness from others. And when you don't respect greatness from others and you're trying to hoard it to be yours, you're not going to win it in anything doing that. I just know that. I know that from experience, and I know that overall.
Let me just answer this question real quick. Yes, you can get KD and keep Cat, but it's harder because you have to compile salaries to make it equal. So it's really easier for Phoenix to just do a 1-for-1 for Cat. But the answer is yes, but it'll have to be Cat for KD because the salaries match perfectly. So just throwing that out there.
The reason I like the KD for Cat,
I like it.
I know KD's aging. I know he's at the tail end of his career. But what's our window? What's our window and what's his window? His window is still there, I think, for another year or two.
years. I think you got 2 years.
I don't know if KD though has been the same since that Achilles. I know his numbers suggest he's sort of been the same, but he doesn't have the same pop. He needed he needs every little bit of twitch as a long kind of player. Kind of, he's a little slower in moving because he's that lengthy and tall. That little Achilles thing affected him a little bit. I didn't see the same out of him. That's just my analysis. Like KD needed that little burst that I think he lost after that Achilles. He's a phenomenal shooter though.
But he's so efficient. And he's
so efficient. Yeah,
he's so efficient. Give him the ball in the he can hit from anywhere. And
the thing is, though, you have if like you want
to age
Brunson and you want
even when he loses his
how many shots though? Like I always say this, like Mikal was never going to come in here and be a 23 a night score, 25. He just wasn't. There's not enough volume. Brunson's going to be that, and so is Cat, and they were. But KD or anybody else as like your third in that core, there's just not enough balls to go around. And they're not giving. You want somebody that's going to give you value like the Nimhards do, like the Neesmiths do for Indiana, or even a Pascal. You rather somebody like that than you would like some prolific like guy to kind of round out a big three, in my opinion. But
yeah, I'm in the middle right now. Like I don't know. Like Eddie, I want to say KD will help, and I get it too. Like he will age well because he could be a spot up shooter.
Because you don't need. He doesn't need
But yeah, then I'm also looking at like what Frankie said. Like we do want to give this unit to gel, and I do want to give that unit to gel. I like Cat, I like Brunson.
Let's be honest.
But the ceiling only means
going to win your championship. We're healthy right now. We can't do it.
That's the thing that sucks.
Are they going to get better next year? My answer is no.
They have to make key offseason moves, and like you said, Eddie, do we have money to pick up guys like a Buddy Hield like I wanted earlier? Like, do we have that money?
The guys want to take $2 million, which how many of them do?
And that's why we have guys like Campaign and Delon Wright and Landry Shamet. And like Campaign was a guy who we all wanted to provide.
We'll be over the apron next year, just so you guys know. We're over the first apron. That means if we're over the apron 2 years in a row, you lose your draft picks. We already are losing fucking 3 draft picks.
Yeah, it's tough right now, especially with – I think the biggest problem is I like OG, but, the contract we gave OG, I mean, what is he, the highest paid Knicks player of all time? Yeah. Like, how is that guy your highest paid player in franchise history?
I don't know. You can invest like we did in OG, $200 million plus, 5 first rounders and a swap for Mikal, and you not get elite wing production on one end or the other. You didn't get it defensively, and you definitely didn't get it offensively. So you invested more than maybe any team in NBA history in wings. Literally. Has any team invested more in wing play than we did with OG and we did with Mikal?
But those are
I'm saying financially speaking, like trade-wise, like going out of your way to bring these guys in. They're not Knicks. We acquired them.
See, they went all in on Mikal Bridges, and to me, it's look, I get it. It got us further than it did last year. We got to the ECF, right? That's what we were all expecting, but the expectations changed when we got the Pacers instead of Cleveland. I would have rather lost to Cleveland, to be honest.
And I think we probably would have beat Cleveland.
Who knows?
I think Cleveland's a better matchup for us. They're a better matchup for us right now. Like we said
earlier. Clearly, the Pacers are the better matchup than anybody. They're going to be the 1 seed next year, the Pacers, after coming up with this.
Yeah, and I can't stop saying it. Leon Rose built this team to beat the Celtics, and he wasn't thinking about the Indiana Pacers.
And you're so right.
You're right.
We're slow. We're ISO. Like Frankie said, it's ISO with this offense. The off-ball screens, I don't see enough of them. Like, I can't. We have Jalen Brunson, who's a very good spot-up shooter. He can make his own shot 100% a lot of the time, but he's also a lethal spot-up shooter. Why aren't we setting off-ball screens?
And we never used him in that. I'm telling you, man, they got to get an actual a point guard at some point that can come in, a McConnell type. And I think we might have one in Kolick in a sense. I don't know. That's my opinion. I thought he should have got some minutes, but
back to private chat, fellas.
Yeah.
I do like Kolek
Yeah,
too.
Eddie, you could wrap up whenever. I know Nick says he wants me to read something, so I'll wait for Nick to give me something. He says, read this. Let's see what he says, Nicholas over there.
You're Nick?
Yeah.
What
Big
does he
bad
want?
Nick. The best, most positive Jets fan on the planet and Mets fan. Nobody.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Soto, though. Batting 228. Unbelievable.
Shout out to Brett Beatty, though. Finally,
Yeah, he's been good, man.
player.
All right, Nick has a comment. Ready?
All
You
right.
guys have to stop star chasing. This isn't the desperate Knicks 5 or 10 years ago. You guys need guys who can run and a guard who can defend, a guy who can shoot the lights out and a tough, nasty big. This team needs role players, not egotistical stars with bloated contracts.
Well, what is Cat? What is
Yeah,
Cat?
I mean, I
That's
think
exactly
you
what
point out
that is. Except he's not a fucking star. He's really good, but I don't think he's a star.
Superstar.
Cat, man, listen, I'll say this, dude. Offensively, even tonight, Eddie, don't say that Cat wasn't playing out of his shoes, man. Like
He was our best
they
player.
couldn't stop that guy. I mean, and he's got good vision. The problem with him is I think he's a little out of shape, to be honest. I think he's got to get in a little better shape.
He's got no.
He's a little
athleticism.
heavy. If he loses a few pounds, gets in the gym a bit more, I think it'll help his game out. But I do think, to what Nick is saying, I think they need a guard, a Nimhard. They need somebody like that, or a big that's a better version of Precious that can give you quality minutes without compromising, who's playing center. Like you could play them at the 5-2 for a few minutes. But
I'm with Ryan here. Everybody's on the table. I'm with them.
The
To
only
me-
reason
God,
I'll say real quick, I'm very big on Frankie's take on Cat. Like the only reason, and this might be a crazy take, what I'm about to say right now, the only reason I don't want to trade Cat is I get Jalen Brunson's our best player, but I think Cat's our most talented player.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think Brunson's much more talented.
Yeah, but like Cat's he's
But
gritty.
Yeah.
He is inconsistent.
He's good during the regular season when you're playing San Antonio or Washington. We saw him in the postseason for the most part. He's not a real number 2. I'm sorry, he's not.
But he's been our best
And
player.
Brunson, by the way, has been relegated to being like a 1B at best.
Cat would fare better with somebody like Tyrese Halliburton, right? Like if Tyrese was his one, that would help Cat out. Get him easy looks. He could play the Miles Turner role to a degree on offense,
Yeah,
and he'll be better. He'll be a better, big in that. I think Brunson and Cat, they didn't really mesh well this year. They didn't really get each other's games. They
never developed any chemistry up until maybe
chemistry. Them two,
Detroit,
nothing.
You could say the Detroit series they did, and even in Boston, you could say they did. They got chemistry, but as a team. But to me, how much better is it going to get? Like, are you going to be a 60-win team next year? I don't know.
It really depends on what
Maybe.
they do with the bench. If they keep this starting 5, they need to improve that bench. They have to improve the bench. That's the only way this starting 5 returns to the Eastern Conference Finals next year. Only way.
You guys, Knicks in 7. Are we on this, Eddie?
Get the fuck out of here.
Come on.
If
They're cheering it outside. They're at the Garden. They had the watch party. They're saying
Yeah.
Knicks in 7 on 7th Ave over there with the fire trucks.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't.
Those
I
are
don't
the
like
optimistic
there.
fans, the diehard optimistic fans. Which I'll
I
give.
never liked the build of this fucking team. I didn't.
Their only shot. We'll know if it's even worth this discussion about them extending the series, depending upon how they come out next game. If they come out and they game 6, like we game 6 to Celtics, if we game 6 them like we did against the Celtics, then you go to game 6 and then things start changing.
What's the Pacers only have 1 loss at home, and that's to us. You think they're going to really lose another game at home? Yeah, to Oklahoma City, probably, not to us.
Yeah. You weren't going to beat Indiana twice at home. It's just that was never going to happen. And we're a really good road team, but they're a very good home team. So they weren't going to let you beat them twice there. Yeah, Carlisle was not going to do it. They're just I'll give them credit. They're just a very well constructed team with no real weaknesses in their starting 5, and everyone kind of looks out for everybody else. There's no me guys on that team. There's nobody that cares whether or not they're scoring or not.
They're so good, and they could beat you.
They are. And Carlisle built a similar team. People don't bring this up enough. In Dallas, that championship team was somewhat similar. Yeah, they had the star in Dirk, but outside of that, they had a bunch of role guys that played within the confines of the game.
And they made a lot of good
they were well constructed.
Yeah,
Dirk wasn't even a selfish guy. They had a star that wasn't selfish.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had a great point guard in Jason Kidd when he still had it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's sucks.
All right, Eddie, what's your prediction?
I'm going to say the Knicks are done in 5. Nothing shows me nothing has shown me up into this point.
I think tonight, Jimmy, you're going to be the optimist here. Come on, we need some positivity over here.
I want to say Knicks in 7, but I think
let's go.
I want to say it, but I can't
say it.
I think I'll say it. Knicks in 7. But Pacers.
There he is.
Pacers will probably win it.
Stay with your chest out.
I think we do push this series to 7 games, but I think we get wiped off the floor in Game 7. That's my final prediction.
I hate the Pacers slogan. The yesers. What the hell is that?
What the fuck is that, by the way? I was trying to figure that out.
You know what they should have made it? The yesers for Yas. You know, we got June coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what they should have went with. The Yassers.
I don't know what a Yasser is, but
you ever see Yas? People that say Yas? All right, well, I'll tell you.
Cat says it a lot.
He says Yas. Yeah, the Yesers is the corniest thing I've legit ever heard. I can't believe if we lose to a team with that slogan, that's gonna piss me off more than anything.
I hope we can just push it to 7, because if we push it to 7, it'll at least make me happy. But the biggest problem I have with this series is all summer long, we're going to be seeing Tyrese Halliburton, that photo of him choking us. Whether they win the finals or not, that's going to live in history. That's going to live in history because the NBA Finals appearance for the Knicks for the first time in, I'm not sure how exactly long. I think since Patrick Ewing in 99. Yeah, 99. It's going to be living with us for so long now, that choke symbol. And it sucks because I wish the Knicks could have erased that. They had a chance to in Game 2. They had a chance even tonight if they just had some guys outside of Brunson and Cat that hit big shots, like Eddie was saying, whether it's Bridges, whether it's OG, what we brought them here to do, we can erase that symbol, but it's going to live with us.
Yeah.
And it's right there. Right there. Because like we said earlier, are they going to be healthy next year?
That's a big question. You don't get the health doesn't come around very often. That's all I know. Mm-hmm. And look at all these teams.
Yeah, I was shocked they were healthy this whole playoff run, man. That's rare. Even though they always had guys getting knocked out for a few games here and there, but not this series, not this playoffs. But hey, we had some great moments, and then looks like it's the end, but it's not over until it's over. Playoffs are weird. The NBA is a weird game, so hopefully they can find some magic.
All right,
that's it from me, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. Appreciate all you guys, and we'll see you after Game 5. Good night, everybody.
See you guys.
Later.